Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Cranks. So we just got done with watching A Hole in the Ground. It's an A24 movie. It's limited release. It's just coming out actually March 1st. They played it a few weeks ago on video on demand. But yeah, they're talking about doing a wide release. I don't see it. I thought that was like one of the most convoluted, just slow, monotone movies that I have seen in so long. I was literally bored that entire movie.
I hate to say it, but I'm bored even thinking about the movie and talking about it. It was mind-numbingly blah is the only word I can come up with. It is mind-numbing of the tropes, cliches, and the reused horror movie assets they employed just one little scene at a time halfway through the movie. I mean, let's go over let's talk about what it was.
Well, first of all, basically this lady, she's a single mother. It's a very typical cliche horror movie. Single mother, has a kid, they've left the father, kid's upset, you know. I mean, what else? Tell them some more.
You mean to actually do the synopsis of this mess?
Oh, God.
Synopsis.
They find a hole in the ground.
Okay, here we go. No. The best way I could say this story goes is you start with a mom and a kid that arrive in this new town. Obviously, the kid's pissed. He doesn't want to go to this new place, and she's dragging him along. And it's a mom in a beat-up old truck. You could tell because they're trying to prove a point that she has no money. And she's broke, and she's got her kid. She's alone. And they immediately start emphasizing she's there because of an ex, right? Gotta have an ex-boyfriend that
you never see.
Beat up on her, of course. She has a scar that's talked about through the rest of the movie.
You think that he beats up on her, but they don't ever tell you exactly if that's what happened.
You don't see anything about it. I mean, okay. I mean, it's bad enough that they start with that trope. But then they do the common, like, driving through the forest. I mean, they do the scenes that you've seen so many times.
Yeah, I will say the opening scene, they're driving through the forest and they kind of go upside down.
And you got the drone.
That was a nice shot. That was a nice shot.
Nice shot.
There was actually a few nice shots. I think the cinematography in this movie, and I even said that right, I am horrible with words.
Cinematography.
Cinematography. Yes. Was good in this movie, I thought. You know. Yeah. The directing, I thought they did okay. It's a little dark, though. There's a lot of things in this movie that you can't even catch.
So that covers some of the visuals that we saw. I mean, basically it's your generic indoor dark scenes. Sometimes she's in the basement and it's pitch black. But sometimes they did it well with the lighting and the flashlights, that sort of thing. And it was creepy sometimes. I would say probably middle of the road. I'd go C- on the visuals. The action killed it.
The visuals I could give like a B- too. I actually thought it was... The cinematography was good. It could have been a little brighter, but that was about it.
I mean, the way it was shot was pretty decent sometimes. Sound. I say when they had sound effects, they actually did them well.
They did. That was the best thing they really did.
That was probably. That was the most eerie. That would be a B+ for me.
That was the most eerie, scary part of the movie.
They had some.
I mean, nothing else was really
scratchy violin stuff, and the music was real.
It's real light in the background.
Yeah, it's very light.
You can hear creaks and cracks over the floor, over top of it. But that was it. I'm sorry. I like sound in movies, but I like sound in good movies.
Yeah, that's true. And actresses and actors. Let's talk about that for a second. I mean, it was just they came out, they're all having dinner, and they're talking about her ex, and they're talking about this. They were there just to push the story along. By dumping,
I think they were just there to put other people in the movie for
that's
10 seconds. Because you don't know who those other characters are. They don't come back in the movie.
No,
they're just there for 5 to 10 seconds and gone.
They constantly did this thing too, where they were foreshadowing a lot. I called it. Look, right here. I typed it in that they were going to do this one scene at the very beginning of the movie. Her and the kid did one scene together, and it was really goofy. And I said, that's going to come back at the very end and be super important. And sure enough, that was the key right there, that one scene.
2, 3.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Oh.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
And then I was waiting for him to explode or something, but nothing happened.
Yeah, it does come back.
And that's another drawback we'll get to, because these two are terrible.
I don't know, how did this get a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes? What the are these critics thinking? I have no idea. I mean, it is just...
It's artsy.
It's getting bad.
Let's just say that. It's trying to be artsy. Anyway, you got that scene, and that's typical. You got her driving in an empty, dark forest at night with the kid, and the music's going, and you know what's going to happen next. That's how this whole movie works. You know each scene that's coming. Like, you can play it out in your head before it even shows up. And then the way they do it with her and this boy is so boring that you don't seem to have any connection and care.
There's so much melodrama in this movie. It is so slow. I mean, it's like...
So, he gets upset, runs off from her because he doesn't want to deal with this new town, blah, blah, blah. The mom chases him into this dark forest, and she can't catch him even though this kid's like, what, 3 foot tall?
I'm just thinking about what happened at the end.
She's running through a forest trying to catch him, and then discovers this massive pit in the ground. Everything swallowed up. Looked like a crater. And following that, she basically goes throughout her normal life for like the next, 40 minutes of the movie?
Yeah, it doesn't get to anything until like 40 minutes in. It's just a lot of melodrama.
Not one scare sequence or anything that happens in 40 to 50 minutes of the first part of this movie. You are just watching her just going through her routine. Her kids play, her friends coming over for dinner, all that stuff.
I gotta tell him. So I'm just looking, he's got some notes here. And here I look over and it just says, so bored. So bored.
That's true.
And that was the whole movie, really.
Yeah. It's basically what happens is you've seen this sort of movie before. It's a horror movie. The kid and the mom together are the two main characters. Everything else in the movie is all just filler. It's those two and how they interact with this problem. And without going into spoilers yet, I would say it's kind of like a possession movie. A possession movie that lacks all the exciting parts of a possession movie.
Yes, very much. I mean, the only thing in this movie that was even, I would say, even remotely frightening was she's looking through the door and he's crawling around like a little, you know, when there are movies, you know, the typical thing,
crawly,
the typical
thing. The creepy crawly on the ground.
Yeah,
we've seen
and then he eats a spider.
Yeah.
And right then she should have known. Just, I'm out. Why would you stay around after you just seen that?
She did a lot of stupid things, but that's because of the story.
It's a horror movie.
It's how it was written.
They all do stupid things in horror movies.
I mean, they had a couple good actors in this movie. I mean, they had some talent, some B Hollywood talent was in this movie. I mean, but they didn't use it well, or they didn't have enough money, because they would come into the shot, talk to her, just release exposition, and then boom, they're gone.
Yeah, like the lady in the road, and like I said, the old man who like runs off into like a little cubby hole, like a crawl space.
Yeah, there were some funny scenes like that where me and you laughed. The mom, on the other hand, she was pretty terrible. Yeah, she ruined it for me.
She
absolutely was boring, lifeless. Half the movie she had no expressions or no emotion. And then, out of nowhere, she does a movie flip. Went from being this woman that could barely, like, walk around the house without freaking out, can't go in the basement or anything. She's scared of everything, right? And she can't handle things, so she's popping pills and all this stuff. But then suddenly, at the end of the movie, she's like crawling through caves like a special forces operator, and she's like trying to do things that are just way outside of her character.
The ending to this movie is so
Convoluted.
stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it made no sense. Let's just say, I'm not gonna spoil it, but what she does at the end is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in a horror movie. Wouldn't you say?
I would have to say
what
the
she
ending
does
is amazing.
And then, man, I can't say it without spoiling it.
No.
You got two. I'll just say you got two. If you see the movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You keep one, but why is that the one you keep? I know the other one.
I know.
But where you find that other
They're
one?
not going to understand any of this.
And they kind of have a whole weird annihilation moment.
Yeah, it felt like that.
There's
sometimes.
a lot, like in Annihilation, there's something there here that comes back at you, and you're like, what?
She flips. I liked her in the second half. I will say she was much better when she was given a shit. But then, the action scenes were terrible.
The monsters.
The scenes in the ground were pretty good, and on like in the forest. Those were shot very well. But the action was shot so poorly. Tony Almos was the director and stuff and the writer, but it's almost like this is his first time doing action. Because it was comical almost. Me and him started laughing a few times because something would happen and she would just fly across the room, but it looked like she was on wires, so it just didn't appear natural. So it's just like her floating by real fast. I don't know. It was.
And to me, it looked like she was just jumping, like she just threw herself.
Yeah,
which is most likely what actually happened. But
it was poor. The action scenes were very poor, and some weren't lit. Some you couldn't tell what the hell was going on. It was so dark in some action scenes, where little action there was, you couldn't tell what was happening. The way that it was filmed, the sound effects for the action sometimes, the fight scenes, different. It was just bad. Let's just say the action was probably a D- in my book.
I don't even remember any action in this movie.
The fights,
except
like
for
her fighting,
her across the room.
fighting people and throwing things.
Yeah, that was
the whole works.
Yeah. I would even say, I'd probably say on the action, oh man. Yeah, D-. That's what I'd say.
If whatever there was. What would you say if you had to give this your final rating? What would it be?
I mean, there's times it wins me over, and then times it was just so bad and so slow. I'm gonna go ahead and probably say a D. I was getting a percentage, probably like a 61. That's actually a D- though.
Yeah, I would.
I'm gonna give it a D-.
I would say that in a heartbeat. If they'd have tried a little harder with the way they designed this movie, the scenes and the way it was paced, I mean, they could have done. Not spoiling anything, but they could have used this premise, which is kind of like Stranger Things in a way. It's weird how that all tangles together. Yeah. They could have done so much more. I mean, it's definitely a low quality, not issue. Like, to me, it's not a horror movie.
Yeah, it wasn't scary. It was low budget.
Yep.
Felt really slow. That's all I can keep thinking the whole time was just like, it's an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And it feels about 3 hours. I feel like I sat there for like 3 hours. What about you?
It felt like forever. But it was short. Mercy for us, it was short.
If that was 2 hours,
oh God,
oh my God, that would have felt like 50 years.
Yeah, if you want to see a horror movie, go see Hereditary.
Yeah, which is by the same studio. Why?
Yeah.
Why couldn't they made? I don't know.
There's so many, like Drag Me to Hell. There's a whole bunch of them that are weird
Drag Me to Hell.
And scary, and
it's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
right,
I mean, Conjuring, the first one. I mean, any of those, all that would be way better than this. So anyway, thanks for watching, and Larry.
Yep. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. We need 1,000 subscribers. And anyways, that's about it. So see you later, guys. Peace.
Bye.